BB851, turn right, heading 180. 14 Papa, turn right 245, report localizer established.
As restrictions worldwide continue to ease and more people begin to head back into the skies, the complete opposite is happening over in Hong Kong, with rules remaining firm, and notably Cathay Pacific continuing to struggle. With every passing month, while for most airlines their situations improve, for Cathay it continues to get worse and worse. For January, the airline carried a total of 24,699 passengers on a network with an incredibly small number of services on offer. This equated to, on average, just under 800 passengers flying on every single day. It comes after Cathay didn't believe it could get any worse, but the restrictions from the new variant have well and truly hit Hong Kong now, with quarantine requirements for passengers and crew getting stricter as being implemented by the authorities within Hong Kong. So not only was Cathay Pacific's inbound traffic pretty hard to come by due to the lack of people attempting to actually reach Hong Kong, or due to the lack of rather people that are able to get to Hong Kong. However, in addition, their outbound traffic was next to non-existent, as you would expect. And this is something they've been struggling with throughout the pandemic. You could certainly argue that the airline in and around August and September saw a slight boost, and when I say slight boost, it was very minimal, but for Cathay Pacific, minimal in a good way. This was due to students travelling to the United Kingdom, the United States, and also just generally Europe to begin their school year. However, that rapidly dropped off as you would expect, and the airline has yet to regain any demand. Cathay did note, though, that thanks to the Lunar New Year, they did see some traffic arise before that, while in addition, mainly Chinese mainland flights via Hong Kong through to Australia, the UK and US did help them achieve their minimal total of just over 24,000 passengers for the month. But in saying that, it's still not a good tally. What's even crazier, though, in my opinion, is to hear that the airline is only actually expecting to operate 2% of pre-pandemic levels as the operator continues to see restrictions imposed in and around Hong Kong, with absolutely no signs at the moment, and this is being recorded on the 20th of February, it's slowing down. For Cathay Pacific, their cargo operations have definitely been the lifeline of the airline throughout the pandemic, with strong numbers there. When I say strong, it's not totally returning to pre-pandemic levels, but it's a massive, massive increase in comparison to what their passenger load factor is. It's by no means enough to keep them afloat for the long term. However, as the carrier continues to be blamed by the Hong Kong government for rising cases, the airline, you could argue, is certainly up against it in all the negative ways possible. Will they be able to survive? Well, the forecast for the coming months don't look any better until at least April, and this is subject to change. The airline is not expecting to fly more than 2% of its pre-pandemic operations. The airline has no domestic market in addition to fall back on, like most other airlines, whether it be those in the United States or even over in Europe. So when these airlines in these countries and regions couldn't operate their international flights, they still had that domestic market to fall back on. However, over at Cathay Pacific, like I mentioned, that's not something that exists. So the airline is already weak and in a position where it just generally cannot sustain these operations for much longer. Things need to change, but the current status is it won't change for months. And what are your thoughts on the unfortunate situations over at Cathay Pacific? With every passing month, it's only worsening. How long do you believe they're going to be able to survive this? Let me know down in the comments. Thanks very much for watching. Do take care and be safe, and I will see you next time.